always, we're super delighted to welcome you to Global Roundtable here on Global Television. I'm Iliad Mofwebe. Big stories await you as always in the course of our interaction on the program. First off, we'll begin with, quite a number of them, but three actually stick out for us on the program today. I'm joined by two gentlemen to help us look at several elements in these conversations. Many of them, they've been a long time coming, but apparently they are all developing stories. I'm joined by, from my extreme, or if you like, my far left, Abdulrahman Aliego. He's an investigative journalist as well as a public commentator. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you. Good evening.
Great. I also have James Ezema. He's a journalist and a good governance advocate. James, it's always a delight to have you here on Global Roundtable.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so one of the things that have happened this week on the floor of the Senate is what many people now call rancor, others refer to it as disruption, on account of the back and forth between President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and the senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, Comrade Adams Aliu Oshomole, over what some people believe is linked to Orders 4 and 5 that have now been amended by the Senate, clearly stating that you must have served 2 consecutive terms prior to being nominated to be a principal officer in Nigeria Senate, which in itself, it's basically a challenge for many senators, including the likes of Adams Aliu Oshomole. We're taking a break. When we return, we'll look at all of that in detail for you.
Our language, our vibrant culture and colorful tradition, our industrious and hospitable people. This is Nigeria, a nation that prides itself in abundant human and natural resources. From east to west, north to south, we sparkle, we shine, we have a common bond. Fellow Nigerians, let's do away with ethnic, religious, and regional sentiments that divide us as a people. God has blessed us and empowered us to find strength in diversity. Let's make our faith and way of worship our source of unity as we build a nation that stays united. Nigeria, together today, together always. This is a public announcement brought to you by Global Television.
Thank you for staying with us. Just a while ago, I introduced my guest, and of course, I let you in on the topics of discussion for today. All of them coming from basically some of the top or biggest headlines from Nigerian newspapers today. Gentlemen, I'd like to say a big thank you to you once again for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having us.
George, since you're closer to me, I'd like to begin with you. Shomole has always found a way to wrap drama around his presentation. I mean, when he stands on the floor of the Senate, no matter how weighty the issues are, even when they border on national security or economic policies of President Bola Tinubu, there's always a sort of element of drama around it. But this appears to be beyond drama. The man is saying, look, you can't break your own rules. I mean, this is Senator Shomole talking directly to the President of the Senate. Because the Senate now says that on the strength of the amendments that have been done to others 4 and 5 of its own rules, James Ezema must have been in the Senate for 2 consecutive terms, very instructive, before he is eligible at all to stand for nomination as a principal officer. Do you think these are all gimmicks towards 2027?
You see, it is a pity that in Nigeria, our lawmakers, they like to make laws in anticipation.
In anticipation?
Yes. You make laws in anticipation. And believing that the scenario you have painted or the scenario that you have planned or what you have thought that was going to happen is actually what will happen at the end of the day. I'm not sure anybody can guarantee that he will even be alive by that next year, June, when the 11th Senate will be inaugurated. So, the man is just, human beings, I don't know what is wrong with us. Most times, rather than make laws because you want the good, the greater good, the betterment of the society, you are making laws because you want to exclude somebody. from getting into certain office, probably in anticipation that one person or the other may just win an election and come to the Senate. What if the person did not even win? Because I saw the headlines as he wrote, Senate excludes Uzodinma, or the others. See, those are the things. Now, the person that is even sitting there as the president of the Senate, how many times have you been at the Senate? How many times have you been at the Senate? And they now emerged as the president of the Senate. Was he at the Senate in 2 consecutive times?
It wasn't. There was an interruption in between.
There was an interruption. So he became a ranking senator by virtue of the fact that the anointing was upon him by the party and the powers that be within the party. And that was how he became the president of the Senate. Otherwise, if they were to hold a free, fair election and the first among the equals were to be elected, I'm not sure the current president of the Senate would have become the president of the Senate. He only became the president of the Senate because he was anointed and the party members had to fall in line. Because I don't know why we try to change the goals at the middle of the match. Because you feel that the place they are going to score the ball will be this way. So you now go there and say, let me go and put the goalpost at this angle so that I know that by the time they are going to play this ball, it will enter here and it will become a goal. And what if the opportunity did not come? So this is the reason why Nigeria is backward. Because we don't do things because of the citizens. No, we do things because of us. My family, just because we want a situation whereby those who are around us will have the good things and then the rest of the people can
have the leftovers.
If they don't get the leftover, who cares? That is the situation. How many people even can get close to the table before you can talk of the leftover? Before they used to say if you can't beat them, you join them. But today, I can tell you cannot beat them and you cannot join them. But the ones are you.
That's a dilemma. What options then do you have?
You have no option but to just grow and complain and then nobody cares that you are complaining.
Let's see if Abdulrahman can join them because obviously you can't beat them. Let's talk about Shomole in particular. Shomole is a man who is believed largely right from his days as national president of the Nigerian Labour Congress to be a very charismatic, energetic, articulate, if you like, personality, and now he has come into full-fledged politics for quite a number of years. Incidentally, he's in an arena where his talents are much more needed than when he was the executive governor of Edo State. When you look at a man like that, plus the fact that he's from the south of the country where the current president of the Senate is from, do you think this could be essentially targeted at him just to ensure that his chances are minimized going into 2027 if and when President Bola Tinubu returns for his second term?
For every politician, they used to have a kind of mindset. Yes. And if you look at it, it is not even now that Shomole was high at that
the Senate presidency?
Yes. Even right from when he won the seat. And don't forget, remember that even the president of the 8th Senate,
right,
what polarized the National Assembly at that time was this same interest. You know, when Senator Dr. Bukola Saraki, when he came when he won Senate seat from Kwara Central, coming from as the former governor of Kwara State, right, the experience is there, the charismatic posture is there, thinking that when it gets to National Assembly, the next thing is to become the Senate President. But this same rule of the order of the House was
It votes against him.
Yes. So he had to go and wait till the second time. So when he now became won another seat in his second term, that was the 8th assembly. The next thing is to go for that position, Senate President. And you know, from no PDP to APC, and like I said, the mindset was, this is where I'm going.
Right.
But it took a kind of drama, dramatic outcome that led to what they tagged the civilian coup at that time.
Right.
You know, from with the power that be after that time, they wouldn't wanted Bukola Saraki to be president of the Senate, and they planned a kind of arrangement for a meeting, the party meeting in a particular venue, while people loyal to Saraki went to the National Assembly and voted him in as the Senate President. And you know what happened? It polarized the National Assembly. Later, before Saraki now decamped back to PDP.
Right.
So it is a kind of mindset. Senator Oshiomhole, like I said, even when he won the Senate, that is the target. And not only him, even Senator Hope Uzodinma, equally he was behind that position. So this is their second time. I mean, they are hoping for their second time in office, so they want to equally try. And the person at the head of affair, the Senate, the President of Senate, Godswill Akpabio, you know, they, just like my colleague rightly said, they make law. Even if you look at the system of our legislature, is making law to serve their own interest. Because if you look at any interest that has to, go along with the Nigerian people,
Right.
it's like they play it lesser. I want to appreciate Senator Adam Oshiomhole, because maybe by giving his background where he's coming from, he has been an active senator in the floor of the 10th Assembly. Recently, was it yesterday, I was watching a kind of a clip when he was making a case for the maximum 20 trillion from the NNPC. So if you look at him, his position at the National Assembly, irrespective of the fact that he is an APC member,
right,
he is still making a kind of cases that Nigerian senator should be making, particularly that has to do with common man. If we are looking at the caliber of that person, given his nature, his experience as a governor of 2 times governor from Edo State, what as a
former national chairman of
APC, then NLC chairman. So he has garnered the necessary experience for him to sit, to occupy that position. That is why it is the best thing to do. Let them, that position of Senate President should be contested. When it is contested, you bring all your arsenals to the table. Let people in your co-senators, let be that they are the one to elect you. Not because you are in a good book of one person or the other, you are anointed by one person or the other. What brought them to National Assembly, let that same system determine what they will be at on the floor of the National Assembly. So until they subject this to election within the National Assembly, then you will not know whether you can actually bear the name you call yourself or not. So, and that may bring, it will seal it up and it will cut it off. But the moment somebody is anointing somebody and somebody is invoking a kind of law that only suits you, so, and if care is not taken, it will polarize the National Assembly, and the history of 8th Assembly will likely to repeat itself. If care is not taken.
Brilliant points you gentlemen are making, but I need to circle back to you again, James, now. The architecture, so to speak, of how we set up the federal system is a bit sensitive. I'll give an example. So, President Bola Tinubu is from the southwest of the country. The number 2 man, Vice President Kashif Shettima, is from the northeast. The other gentleman, Senator Godswill Akpabio, is from the south-south, and then of course the Speaker of the House is from the northwest. Right. So you are asking yourself, if we were to say, let's throw it open like he recommended now, and I hope the federal government actually buys that recommendation, to say let's throw it open, let's be competitive, let's set up an election, electoral process, make it as transparent and credible as it can get, let the best man win and things like that. Would that work? Because again, we're trying to see how we can manage our sensitivities as a country, religion, ethnicity, tribes, region, or what have you. It's complicated, isn't it?
It's not complicated anything. We're always making it complicated. We're not making it, creating all these complexities. Now, let me tell you something. We have been managing some of these peculiarities, as they used to call them. Now, how has it helped the country? Have we moved forward economically? Have we moved forward in any way, industrially? Or what is working in Nigeria? No, we're talking about just about sharing formula all the time. You know, oh, this person is from the south, this person is from the north, is from the east, is from the west, is from that is the reason why any mediocre can just become a leader, because the odds of zoning favors him. Initially and ordinarily, you will think that zoning will help to balance equation of leadership. But despite the zoning of the 10th Assembly has standing on the mandate changed. Now, with zones, now all is zoning. Has it made food cheaper in Kano? Has it made food cheaper in Kaduna? Has it made food cheaper in Akwa Ibom? Has it made food cheaper any other place? Or has it made fuel cheaper? Now, what we should be focusing on is ability to govern ourselves. Who has what it takes to be a leader? A productive leader, not just a leader that leads people to do well, but a productive leader, a leader that can manage resources and bring out the best from us. This is the kind of, we have so much resources around, but who can harness this to give us the good life that we need as citizens of Nigeria? Now, you know, in 2023, people were shouting Muslim ticket. Some people saw it as a great bargaining chip, you know, and then some people also saw it that, oh, this thing is favors our religion. But today, does anybody use a Muslim ticket to go and buy food?
But those tickets, those meal tickets are not printed. If they had been printed, you would have had access to them.
It's not about whether the person is coming from the north, west, south, or east. Let the best among us be our leader, irrespective of where he comes from. You see, I want want to ask you a question. If a man from Bauchi is the president of the Senate, a man from Bauchi is the president of Nigeria, a man from Bauchi is the vice president, and a man from Bauchi is also the speaker of the House of Representatives. And at the end of the day, we have fuel selling at 15 naira per liter. What will you say? You will say that you don't want it because the person is not from your region or is not from your state. I don't understand us.
So you're saying that the thinking and ideology must change by all means.
Because we should focus on performance,
right?
Not just about where somebody come from. Anybody can come from anywhere, so long as the person is in Nigeria, so long as the person is qualified, so long as the person can give us that good governance we have been hearing over the years. In fact, we fought against the military rule because we believe that we should have leadership that we had a hand in bringing into office.
Right. But
today, the electoral process today is even worse than what we saw during the military rule, because somebody will plan a coup. There are different kinds of coup that people have plotted and executed, and they find themselves in office. You remember one time when the case of the Roger Sokoria in the Ninth Assembly,
right,
whereby he was to come he was during the election process, that there were all kinds of things. They say, they forced us to announce the result and all that. At the end of it, what happened? You go to court,
right?
And then at the end of it, what happens? The point here is this: let us stop all this thing they use to deceive us. Your religion, your state of origin, where you come from, federal character this, federal character that. But at the end of the whole thing, we are still in one spot.
Well, let's see how we can move one spot further now in terms of our lineup for today. We have been told that a Federal High Court in Lagos has now ruled that the National Broadcasting Commission, that is the NBC, the body that regulates broadcasting in Nigeria, cannot punish broadcasters just because they air their opinions purely on the basis of facts. That conversation has been a long time coming, but the court now further says that under such circumstances, the NBC has no powers to sanction or fine using its proxies, agents, or by whatever means, members of these organizations, these broadcasting organizations. Abdulrahman, again, this is media specific. We've been told time and again as professionals that, look, when you anchor a program, for example, especially during electioneering like we have it right now, you have to be neutral, you have to stay on the fence, you can't take side, just be dispassionate. You can't even say, you are not even supposed to, as it were, cite figures that are credible, that are authentic, that are verified. But today, the Federal High Court in Lagos has said that shouldn't be the case. That broadcasters indeed can lend their voice to conversations. They have the right to air their opinions for as long as those opinions are based squarely on facts. Is there any such thing as neutrality, really?
Yeah, you see, media organization, one of that things that they use to draw people's attention to their organization is what we call credibility. And you cannot earn credibility without the needed training. As a journalist, you are not expected to be a judge. You present, just like you said, you present your fact and figure, and you leave the rest for the people to judge. And that's why one-sided story is not a balanced story.
And it's dangerous.
And it's very, very dangerous. So for a journalist can have his opinion, but if care is not taken, you discover that journalists used to be emotional, and they they can go to that extreme under the guise that hearing their own opinion. So at the same time, the NDC, according to the Federal High Court in Lagos, that a journalist can actually have his opinion. Yeah, because journalist is a human being, as a member of the society, he feels what any other person feels in the society. And as a human being, you can have your own opinion. You feel the way things, you believe things should be. But in doing that too, you have to be conscious of the seat that you are occupying, so that you are not carried away by whatever the case before you, being an anchor of a program, or you're a writer, you're an editor. So that is why in journalism there are ethics of journalism. So and the moment any journalist is abide strictly by the ethics of journalism, I want to believe it will be come to maybe a barest minima the way we allow emotion to drive you. So it is still boils down to the issue of professionalism. When you take professionalism into your either you are a broadcaster, a journalist, or you are a print journalist, if professionalism is there, you want to believe you will be strongly guided. It is not the NBC that should be now saying that this is what you should do, or this is not what you should not do. Don't even be surprised. The NBC, the Director General of NBC is an appointee of somebody. Anything, any news can go against the person that appoints him or her. So he may be using that to deal with a particular station or a particular journalist. So for the court to have come up with that position, I want to believe is a way for journalists. But journalists should not take it to the extreme too. We should be guided by our
must be responsible
ethics.
Thank you. James, off the shores of Nigeria, let's say the US, for example, several countries in the global West, you can be a broadcaster, you can be a print journalist, an editor, reporter with a strong background in certain beats, for instance, and you are still a card-carrying member, bona fide member of a political party. For example, in the US, a lot of those senior anchors we see on national television, they are members of either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, right? Is there ever a chance that we can have such a situation in Nigeria where, for example, you are a member of Party A and you're interviewing a member of Party B? For every question you ask, Mr. Abdulrahman is going to say it's because the man is not a member of the party. That's why you're hitting him so hard in those questions.
As looking for your card member, membership number.
Exactly.
I have been on set with some individuals that because of my opinion, they believed that I must be a member of a particular political party.
Right.
And the thing gets me. Sometimes it's annoying, sometimes it's amusing, because you don't classify or profile a person based on the person's opinion. You see, opinion is one of the elements that is guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and not only that, is also guaranteed by the tenets of democracy. You see, you cannot practice a democracy, you cannot call any society as democratic when the people within that society cannot hold opinion. Because it is part and parcel of democracy, and that's why democracy is the rule of majority. Even if that majority, they are foolish majority. They are the ones
it is still a majority.
It is still a majority. They are the ones that determine who rules, who governs. They're the ones that determine what happens in that society. So, the problem we have in Nigeria is that we don't even understand what democracy is all about. Democracy for us is just election. No, that is not just democracy. Democracy is not just election. Election is just part and parcel of democratic process. Rule of law is part of democracy. Because you have voted for someone and the person has come to office, and the person is sitting down as either as a governor, a senator, or whoever, or a president, and then the person now decides to rule according to his or her own whims and caprices. You have to rule based on the law. It's only in Nigeria that's the only place you will see that people who are in government, they are the ones that tell the people what they want. You elected someone to represent you. He will never come to consult you. He will never come to seek opinion. But he will be making statements at the floor of the assembly, making laws without consulting you. Some of these lawmakers, how many times have they held a single town hall meeting in their constituency, saying, okay, let us agree, what do you people want? A hospital, a road, a school, or a playground? What is your priority? They don't do that. They just go there and say, okay, I think my people will be needing solar power. Maybe what they are looking for is not solar. It's probably what they want the most is one hospital that is very close to them where they go and treat their wound. But you have decided that you must give them light because there's darkness in the place. No, they will manage with the darkness, but they need something more. Something more important to them could be a hospital. So let us stop this kind of leadership style that we have in Nigeria. Yeah, and it's an African thing, unfortunately. It's only in Africa that's where a leader will sit down because people say no, they don't want you. You will unleash security against them. You will want to break their neck, break their waist, everything, subdue them, and then make them to submit to you because you are a lot. It's only in Africa. That's why this happens.
Before I go back to Ahmad, I want to ask you this. Where do you stand? Do you think the Nigerian media, especially broadcasts angle of it, right, or segment of it, is under-regulated or over-regulated?
The issue is that regulations is just like when they are making laws for us.
Right.
They make laws anticipating that Mr. A will run foul of the law so that we can punish him.
So the laws are
preemptive. They make laws in anticipation that a political opponent will run foul of the law so that we will go back and invoke the law against him or her. And that is the problem we have in Nigeria, and that is what they are now bringing into broadcasting. Now, first of all, a broadcaster or a journalist is first of all a Nigerian.
Before anything else.
Before anything else. Before any profession, you are first of all a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the opinion of every citizen is guaranteed by the Constitution of Nigeria. So the only thing that you cannot do, which is just the same with every other citizen, is that you cannot bring things that are not factual. Your opinion should not infringe on the rights of someone else. That is the balance in the law. So why should we now say that because I'm a broadcaster, I'm a journalist, I don't have a family, and then I don't have a family that the bad economy is affecting. I don't have dependents. I don't have the people that come to me and say, go brother, please, there's no food at home. Does that mean that all those governance rigmaroles and all the kinds of manipulations that go on in the system that I know that is affecting me, I cannot voice it out just because I'm practicing a profession? No, now that is a way of using the law to gag somebody and enslave the people and make them to become robots in their own country. No. So you see, let me tell you, the regulatory system within the broadcast, especially because it's broadcast that's where they do some of these things, is because they believe that people could use the broadcast media to run them down or expose what they are doing wrong. Look, some of them, their mentality is that no, broadcast media, there is element of higher credibility when broadcast media is disseminating information. That is all. And they believe that, look, let us not allow them to hold opinion. Let's gag them. Let's gag them. Let's make sure that we do. Because this is not the first time that the court in Nigeria is ruling that the NBC has no right whatsoever to impose fine on any television station. That's right. This is not the first time. And you cannot be a judge in your own case if you believe that a TV station A or TV station B has run foul of the law. You go to the court and present your facts and let the court decide whether this person is guilty or not, whether the TV station is guilty or not. Then the fine that is in the code will be part of the judgment of the court, because that code becomes part of the law, because they were made based on the law that created the NBC. So the court will now say, based on the fact that you have run foul of this XYZ code, this is the fine. And it becomes something that you can now beat your chest and say, yes, I knew that there was fairness in the process. But when somebody is the accuser, is the judge and everything, he just tells you, just go and pay 5 million, go and pay 10 million. He's the one that accused you of running foul of the law, and he's still the one that is imposing fine on you. Does that align with natural justice?
Interesting. Time will fail us to continue to push this particular conversation, but we have something else, the very last one to look at in the course of the program right now. The federal government has now said that, look, the appellation or title DR, which is doctor, can no longer be used whether for official or academic purposes, or even professional purposes as well, for as long as it is honorary. So for you to use it for whatever purpose, it must be earned, which means you must have studied for it. I looked at Abdulrahman Yego. Last I checked, PhD has not been conferred. I mean, honorary PhD has not been conferred on you. But the federal government is now saying, look, if we see that you add it as a title to your name, whether for professional, for academic, or whatever purpose it is, we'll treat it as an academic fraud. Is this just a distraction, or is it an issue that should have been dealt with long before today?
Yes, honestly, it is an issue that should have been dealt with long ago. Why? The reason I said that, because you don't want to even know the difference between somebody that work hard academically to earn that name, doctor. So, and somebody that some people if you go online now, you begin to see so many organizations. Even as at this morning, I still had one that asking me that they've ran through my profile that is very good for me to add DR.
You are eminently qualified.
And they only told me that within a year I will get it.
Right.
The moment I can pay for it. So when does that become something you go to market and buy? I could remember in my university, a lecturer, one of my lecturers, we met him as a mister. And he retired as a minister within academic.
All through his career.
I'm telling you. So, and this man is very brilliant. When he is teaching you, you know that he has something upstairs. But as a result of one thing or the other, he couldn't get it.
And this is the same thing somebody, if you can just dip your hand into your pocket and you can be able to pay a certain amount to one institution or another, they just give it that title and they celebrate it. Within 6 months, they've given it to you. And what some people, they work, they actually, somebody that spent all his life within academic environment, and yet he couldn't get it. And some of these people, it has turned to a commodity that you can just go to any market and buy. Honestly, I am in full support of that. If you, the only person that can bear that prefix is somebody that gone through that ladder to earn it academically. And you discover that one of the reasons why some people even prefer to put PhD at the end of their name is to differentiate this issue, because it has become something that it doesn't even freak you any longer. You see this doctor, and you know this person that in fact it cannot even contribute any meaningful thing to any discourse, any national discourse. So to an extent that some people, they became that, they got that title not even from their background. They just speak it somewhere. Maybe somebody read, for example, history and international study, and they said he should come and get PhD or doctor in one commerce and PhD of what correlation, of what meaning. So honestly, I am in full support.
Right.
For you to earn that prefix, you must work for it, and anybody that is bearing it should be treated as an academic fraud.
I think that's, you're thinking along the line of the federal government.
Yeah.
As we begin to wrap up now, James, isn't this sort of situation a reminder that we no longer have that premium on education as against what we had seen several decades before now?
Is it what you have is the kind of society that we run? We run a society that everything is based on qualification, on paper certification,
right?
Certificate. If you have a first class, whether you earned it fraudulently or you earned it by academic work, or you bought it.
They say bought, does that mean you didn't go to school, you didn't pass through the rigor?
You will be admitted, and at the end of the day you go and sort lecturer, from
start to finish.
Of course. I don't want to go into some issues within the academics, but you see, when a society is dependent on academic qualification rather than what you can do, is a big problem. We will always have this kind of problem because everybody believes that having that prefix will now boost their profile. And Dr. This, he signs a document and he Dr. This. Then everybody that reads it will not believe that this person must be extraordinary person. But that is the reason why you see that they scramble for doctorates. People are scrambling for doctorates. Once the opportunity comes for you, everybody is not like my colleague who doesn't want to add the doctorate to his it is bought and sold. But let's come to think of it. The award of honorary doctorate degree is a global standard. It did not start from Nigeria. It is a global standard. So if we want to regulate, what is it that applies globally? Because we cannot regulate in isolation.
Right.
what is it that applies, because it did not originate from us. So if there is a way to differentiate someone who has earned doctorate degree in class, because even when you talk about doctor, there's also the other level of discrimination within even those who earned it from the university. Right. Now, those who earned it as medicine and surgery, they are also feeling bad that someone who just read chemistry or whatever course that he had read, anthropology or whatever, a doctor, they are even looking at it that they should put their own PhD at the end of the day. Yes, to know that it was earned through just mere academic work, not medical.
Right.
So these are some of the issues that have been around this doctorate thing, the prefix DR. So it is something that the government have to see. That it's not something that you just come out and make a policy and then yes, so that all the stakeholders bring them together. That's the thing I talk about governance in Nigeria and in Africa. The person who is in leadership anywhere will just come and then tell you that this is what it is, this is what I want you to be doing, But if you gather stakeholders together and discuss, and then say, this is a problem, how do we solve it?
They can have a system around it. Gentlemen, I think that's a nutshell to allow us to take. In the meantime, I wait such a time when both of you will be conferred honorary doctorates.
I think I would prefer to earn it.
Okay. Of course, you should earn it, but I would like to attend the party afterwards. So I'd like to say big thank you to my guest here, James Izema, as well as another of our colleagues, our man, Diego, for coming to join us on the program today. We appreciate your time once again. Thank you very much. That's the program for you, everyone. I'm Lee Agmofwebe, in for my colleague Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Our broadcast here on Global Television continues.